Hi, welcome to my incredible story. Watch Tylee the end. If you're subscribed, I'm starting. Never thought I'd be the kind of person to screw over someone so good, but I did. I cheated on the most kind-hearted man I'd ever met in my entire life, all because I was too dumb to see what I had right in front of me. Looking back now at 26, I can't believe how stupid I was at 19. There were two guys tangled up in this mess I made. Alfie, the sweetest soul you could imagine, and Ben, the flashy jerk I thought I wanted. And me stuck in the middle, too wrapped up in my own nonsense to do the right thing. Alfie was this guy who'd had a crush on me for what felt like forever. He was always there, you know, the kind of person who'd drop everything if I needed a shoulder or just someone to talk to. He'd show up with a shy smile, maybe a cup of tea or a little note to cheer me up. And he genuinely cared about me. Not in some loud, showy way, but in that quiet, real way that sneaks up on you. He chased me for a whole year, and I kept brushing him off because, God, I hate admitting this, I was so shallow back then. All I could think about was how it looked to other people. I had this dumb idea in my head that I couldn't be seen dating a loser or a nerd. Alfie wasn't the type to strut around or turn heads. He was a bit short, a bit awkward, didn't have that cool guy vibe. But he had a heart bigger than anyone I'd ever met. After a year of him trying, I finally gave in and said yes, thinking maybe I'd give it a shot. Now looking back at my immature, judgmental younger self, I'm honestly furious at how I treated him. We started dating, secretly keeping it under wraps for about a month. I didn't want my friends to know because I was terrified of what they'd say. When I finally worked up the nerve to tell them, their reaction was exactly why I'd kept it hidden. It hit me like a punch to the gut. Hess, ugly. You, why him? He's too short. He's not even that great at anything. He gives me the ick. Just a flood of nasty, shallow comments. I was only 19. And at that age, my friends' opinions felt like the law. Their words sank into me, made me feel embarrassed about Alfie, even though deep down I really liked him. Maybe even loved him. But I couldn't bring myself to break it off. I didn't want to hurt him, which is laughable now because I ended up doing so much worse. Thinking back, I should have let him go right then and there, set him free from the disaster I was about to turn into. Here's the thing. I was genuinely happy with Alfie. He made me feel safe, cared for like I mattered. We'd sneak off to quiet spots, the park down the road, sitting on the swings, talking about nothing and everything. He'd pick me a daisy from the grass, or slip me a chocolate bar because he knew I loved them. Little things that meant the world. But I couldn't date him out in the open. Couldn't walk around holding his hand with my head high because of what my friends thought. It twisted everything, made it feel wrong when it wasn't. About a week after I told them, I got a text from Ben, this senior I knew from school. Tall, confident, a bit of a charmer. He asked me out, and I told my friends. They flipped, all excited, telling me to say yes, even though they knew I was with Alfie. He's so hot. Go for it, way better than that other guy. I knew dating Ben would be easier on my ego, less judgment from the girls. But I couldn't let Alfie go. He was too good, too real. So in the dumbest move of my life, I said yes to Ben and started dating them both. Ben was already in college, and we were in our last year of high school, so I managed to juggle it for a while. Alfie didn't know about Ben, and Ben didn't know about Alfie. Two separate lives, quiet nights with Alfie at home, loud weekends with Ben at parties. My friends at school couldn't shut up about Ben. Your senior boyfriend, so cool. And soon enough, it was all anyone talked about. Word spread like wildfire, and I knew it'd get back to Alfie eventually. When it did, it was the worst moment I've ever lived through. Valentine's Day of all days made it even more brutal. Alfie showed up at my house, bless him, with a box of chocolates and a single red rose. Simple, perfect, so him. He's standing there all nervous and sweet when his phone buzzes. His mates had sent him a picture of me with Ben arm around me at some stupid party. He looks at me, voice shaky, and asks, "What's this up?" I couldn't say a word, couldn't even look at him. Just stared at the ground, my stomach turning inside out. I saw tears roll down his face, pure, honest tears from the kindest person I knew. It broke me, absolutely shattered me, but I knew I was the one who'd caused it. I stood there frozen, useless, while his friends dragged him away, saying, "She's not worth it, mate." I heard their car peel off, and then it was just me alone. with the wreckage I'd made. My friends, the ones I'd cared so much about impressing, didn't show up for me. Not a single one. No texts, no calls, nothing. I'd let their shallow opinions ruin something real, and now I had no one. Alfie and I still saw each other at school, but he wouldn't speak to me, wouldn't even glance my way. I couldn't bring myself to say anything either. How could I? I'd broken a good man's heart, smashed it to pieces because I was too stupid to see past what other people thought. It's been 7 years since that day. I heard Alfie joined the army, and I hope with everything in me that he's out there happy, with a woman who loves him the way he deserves, fully, openly, without hesitation. I pray he's found peace and a healthy, beautiful relationship, because God knows I don't deserve him after what I did. But that wasn't the end of it. My mess kept going. After Alfie walked away, I stayed with Ben for a bit, thinking maybe I could salvage something, make it work. My friends were all about it. "You're in now. He's such a catch." But it felt empty. Ben was all surface, no depth. He'd take me to parties, sling his arm around me like I was some prize he'd won, but he didn't care about me, not really. I'd watch him flirt with every girl there, laughing it up, not even bothering to hide it. I'd sit there with a drink in my hand, feeling like an idiot, wondering why I'd ever thought this was better than Alfie. It lasted 3 months before he ghosted me. Stopped replying, stopped calling. A week later, I saw him with some college girl, all over her like I'd never existed. My friends didn't bat an eye. "Plenty more fish," they said. Left me feeling like a total fool, dumped and alone. School ended not long after, and my friends started drifting away. The ones who'd pushed me toward Ben, who trashed Alfie, they all went off to uni or moved on with their shiny new lives. I stayed behind in our little town, got a job at the chip shop, and that's where I've been ever since. Slinging fries stuck in my head, replaying that Valentine's Day over and over. Alfie's tears, my silence, the sound of his mates pulling him away. It haunts me. People around town started asking questions. Old teachers, neighbors, folks who'd seen us together. "You still with that nice lad?" They'd say, meaning Alfie. I'd mumble, "No, we split." And they'd nod with this look in their eyes like they knew I'd messed up something good. Word travels fast in a small place like this. Soon enough, I'd hear the whispers. "She cheated on that sweet Alfie. What a daft girl. Poor lad didn't deserve that." I could feel their stares every time I walked down the street, like they were judging me, and they were right to. One day, my old schoolmate Jen came into the chip shop. "Heard about Alfie," she said, leaning on the counter. "Joined the army, doing proper well now." My stomach dropped. Good for him, he deserved it. Then she looked at me dead serious and said, "You were a right idiot, you know. He was mad about you." Thanks, Jen, as if I didn't already feel it every damn day. But she was spot on. I couldn't shake his face from my mind. Those tears, that look of betrayal. Started having dreams about it, waking up in a cold sweat, guilt chewing me up from the inside. Years kept ticking by me, stuck in that greasy chip shop life on hold, while the town kept muttering about what I'd done. Then Ben showed up again 2 years after school ended. Dropped out of uni, still cocky as ever. Strolled into the chip shop like nothing had happened. "All right, love," he said with that smarmy grin, asking me out like he hadn't ditched me without a word. I told him to shove off. Didn't have my friends around to cheer him on this time, and I'd finally seen him for the shallow git he was. He just shrugged, "Your loss," and strutted out. Good riddance. But it didn't fix anything. Good riddance. But it didn't fix anything. Alfie was still gone, and I was still kicking myself harder every day. My mom got wind of it all eventually. She's a proper no-nonsense woman, salt of the earth. Sat me down one night with a cup of tea and laid into me. "You daft cow," she said, shaking her head. "That Alfie was a diamond, and you threw him away. What were you thinking?" I couldn't answer, just stared into my mug, feeling small. She sighed softer this time. "You live and learn, love. But you hurt a good lad bad." She was right like always. Her words stuck with me, rattling around my head. Daft cow, daft cow, daft cow, daft cow. Kept me up nights thinking about how I'd let her down too. Not just Alfie. The town wouldn't let it go either. Old Marge from down the road, proper nosy biddy, cornered me outside the shop one day. "Heard you mucked it with that Alfie," she said, fag in hand. "Nice lad him. What a shame. What a shame. I nodded, mumbled something, tried to get away, but she kept going. Folk round here reckon you're a fool, lass, letting a good un slip like that. Cheers, Marge, tell me something I don't know. But it wasn't just her. Everywhere I went, it followed me. The butcher, the postman, even the old bloke who fed the ducks by the park. They all knew. Poor Alfie. They'd say, shaking their heads. You were a right twit. Small towns don't forget. And they don't forgive easy either. A year later, I ran into Alfie's old mate Tom at the pub. Hadn't seen him since school. He was half-cut, pint in hand, and spotted me across the room. You, he said, pointing. You're the one who knackered Alfie. I froze, goot sinking. You're the one who knackered Alfie. I froze, goot sinking. He's doing all right now, no thanks to you, he went on. Army sorted him out. Hope he finds a lass who's not a bloody snake. Didn't know what to say, just nodded and slunk off to a corner. Tom was right, though. Alfie deserved better than me, always had. Kept hearing about him through the grapevine, doing well, moving up, living a life I'd lost any right to be part of. Made me ache knowing I'd pushed him to that point. Time dragged on, and I stayed stuck. Chip shop days turned into chip shop years. 4 years after school, Ben's sister Lisa came through town. Proper posh, now all uni-educated and smug. Saw me behind the counter and smirked. Still here, eh? Heard you and Ben didn't last. Shame about that other lad, though. Alfie, was it? My brother always said you were a mess. Thanks, Lisa, real kind of you. She flounced off, leaving me to stew. Ben had talked about me like that. Course he had. Didn't surprise me one bit. Just another kick while I was down. Then there was my cousin Ellie, loudmouth of the family. Rolled into the chip shop one Christmas full of gossip. Heard Alfie's engaged now, she said, grinning like it was a big laugh. Some girl he met in the army. Proper fit, they say. My heart stopped for a sec, but I forced a smile. Good for him, I said, voice tight. Ellie didn't notice, kept yapping. Yeah, dodged a bullet with you, didn't he? Everyone reckoned you were mad to let him go. Cheers, Ellie, bloody hell. But it stuck with me. Alfie engaged, moving on happy. Sure felt good for him, and part of me did, but mostly it just hurt. Hurt that I'd lost him, hurt that I'd been the idiot to ruin it. 5 years post-school, I started hearing more whispers. Alfie's name popping up in the local paper. Some award he'd got in the army. Proper hero stuff. Old Mrs. Jenkins from next door brought it in, waving it under my nose. Look at this, you're Alfie. Such a shame you mucked it last. Could have been you there with him. I took the paper, hands shaky, and read it. Picture of him smiling, all grown up proud. My chest went tight. He was doing amazing, and I was still here, frying chips, drowning in regret. Mrs. Jenkins patted my arm. You were young, love. We all do daft things. Kind of hurt, but it didn't help. Young or not, I'd made a choice, and it was the wrong one. By year 6, the guilt was a constant ache. Started avoiding the pub, the park, anywhere folk might bring him up. But it followed me anyway. Ran into Alfie's Auntie Pat at the market one day. She'd always liked me back when things were good. Clara, she said, voice soft. Heard you're still beating yourself up over Alfie. I nodded, couldn't meet her eyes. He's all right now, love, she went on. Married last year, got a little on the way. He's happy. Let it go. Let it go. How could I? I'd broken him, and yeah, healed, but I hadn't. Thanks, Pat, I mumbled, and shuffled off, feeling like the world's biggest prat. 7 years hit, and I was a wreck. Still at the chip shop, still alone, still hearing Alfie's name every other week. Oh, he's as a captain now, someone say. Got a house with his wife, another dad. Each bit stung, but I couldn't stop listening. Then one night my mate Sarah, only one who'd stuck around, sat me down. You've got to stop this, she said, blunt as ever. You cheated, yeah, you were a twat, but it's been 7 years. Alfie's moved on. You need to. Easier said than done. I broke him, Sarah, I said, voice cracking. He was the best thing I ever had, and I threw it away for nothing. She hugged me, didn't argue, just let me cry it out. But her words stuck, needed to move on. How though? 8 years in, Ben showed up again. Third time now. Banged up car, no job. Same old swagger. Fancy a drink, love, he said, leaning on the counter. I laughed in his face. Proper bitter laugh. Get lost, Ben. You're nothing to me, he smirked. Still sour about that Alfie bloke, eh? And sauntered off. Didn't even faze me this time. Just made me see how pathetic he was compared to Alfie. Didn't fix the hole, though. Kept working, kept living, but it was like I was stuck in mud, dragging that Valentine's Day behind me. 10 years after I heard Alfie was back in town for a visit. First time since he'd left. Kasaba buzzing about it. Captain Alfie. They called him all proud. I stayed away, couldn't face him. But fate's a cruel git. Marge dragged me to the pub that night, said I needed a break. Walked in, and there he was. Alfie, older, broader, laughing with his mates. Wife on his arm, stunning, glowing, pregnant. My heart stopped. He looked happy, really, truly happy. Didn't see me at first, but then his eyes flicked my way. No hate, no anger, just a small nod, like he'd let it all go. I couldn't breathe. Marge nudged me. It's all right, lass. Let it be. I nodded, tears prickling, and slipped out before he could say anything. Didn't deserve his kindness, not after what I'd done. 15 years on, I'd moved. Left the chip shop, the Kasaba, started over in a new town. I got a little flattered job at a cafe, tried to build something. But Alfie's shadow never left. Heard he'd had another kid, got some big promotion. Good for him, always good for him. Me? Still single, still kicking myself. Ran into Jen again years later. She'd moved near me by chance. Heard Alfie's doing grand. She said over coffee, "You still think about him?" I nodded, throat tight. Every day, she sighed. You were young, Clara. Daft, yeah, but young. Didn't matter. Young or not, I'd ruined something pure. 20 years since that day, and I'm 39 now. Still alone, still haunted. Alfie's a name I can't escape. Kasaba folks still talk when I visit Mam. Captain Alfie, proper legend. I smile, say I'm glad, but it cuts. Mum's softer now, says I've punished myself enough. Maybe she's right, but it don't feel like it. I see his face in every quiet moment. Those tears that rose, the sound of him leaving. Hope he's got everything he deserves, 'cause I know I never will. 25 years hit and I'm 44, now sitting in this little cafe. I've made my own, pouring coffee for strangers and trying to keep my head above water. Alfie's name still drifts back to me like a ghost that won't leave. Someone from the old Kasaba will mention him when I visit Mam. Captain Alfie's retired now, got a big family, grandkids even. And I'll nod, force a smile, say, good for him, while my nod, force a smile, say, good for him, while my insides twist up. Mum's frail these days, but she still looks at me with those knowing eyes. You've carried that guilt long enough, love? She says one night, her voice shaky. He's happy. Let yourself be too. I want to believe her. But it's like I've built a cage out of that Valentine's Day, locked myself in with his tears. And that damn rose. Last week, I saw a bloke in the cafe who looked like him. Just for a second, same shy smile, same quiet way about him. Turned out to be some random fella, but it sent me spiraling all the same. Sat in the back after my shift, staring at the wall, wondering if Alfie ever thinks about me, or if on just a blurry memory he's glad to forget. Hope he's out there surrounded by love kids running around his knees, a wife who sees him for the diamond he is. Me, I've got this quiet life, flats, tidy jobs. Steady, but it's empty. Still kick myself every day. Still see his face when I close my eyes. Reckon I'll carry him with me till I'm dust, praying he's found peace, 'cause I'm still chasing mine. Sub for more.